Sleep was a stranger. For months, maybe years, I'd lie awake, staring at the cracked ceiling of my apartment, my mind a tangle of worries I couldn't name. When I did drift off, nightmares yanked me back. Faceless shapes in the dark, whispers calling my name. A weight on my chest like something was sitting there watching. I was 27, living on coffee and stubbornness. My eyes sunken, my hands shaky. The ad popped up on a job board. $2,000 for a 2-week sleep study at Somnus Labs, a research facility just outside town. The website was polished. White text on a black background. Photos of serene bedrooms. Testimonials from participants who claimed they'd never slept better. I filled out the form, answered a few questions over the phone, and got an email confirming my spot. It felt like a miracle, a chance to fix my sleep, my bank account, my life. Somnus Labs was a sleek fortress of glass and steel, tucked in a quiet valley where the hills blocked the city's hum. The lobby was bright, almost clinical, with potted ferns, a bubbling water feature, and a receptionist whose smile never wavered. Dr. Evelyn Holt, the lead researcher, met me at the front desk. She was in her 40s, tall with sharp green eyes and a crisp white coat that seemed to glow under the fluorescent lights. Her voice was calm, professional, as she explained the study. They were testing a new therapy to enhance REM sleep, using mild electrical stimulation through scalp sensors and guided audio tracks. It sounded futuristic, safe, like something from a sci-fi novel. I'd stay in a private room, wired to monitors, and sleep 8 hours a night while they collected data. During the day, I could read, eat, or relax in a common area with other participants. 2 weeks, $2,000, no strings. I skimmed the waiver, signed it, and followed a technician named Carl to my room, ignoring the knot in my stomach. The room was small but comfortable, a narrow bed with crisp white sheets, a wooden desk, a cushioned chair, and a window overlooking the valley, though the glass was tinted, turning the sunlight a dull gray. Carl, a quiet man with a clipboard and a faint stutter, attached sensors to my scalp, chest, and wrists, their adhesive cold against my skin. He showed me how to adjust the bed, pointed out the call button on the wall, and handed me a remote for the room's lights. That night I lay down, the sensors humming faintly, their wires trailing to a machine by the bed. An audio track played through a speaker in the headboard, soft waves lapping ashore, distant chimes, a woman's voice guiding me to breathe, to relax, to let go. My eyelids grew heavy, and I sank into sleep faster than I had in years, the world dissolving into a warm, heavy dark. The first few days were almost pleasant. I'd wake feeling rested, the sensors still in place, their wires neatly coiled. The room was unchanged, the tinted window filtering the morning light, the air cool and faintly sterile. I'd eat breakfast in the common area, a long glass-walled room with tables, a coffee machine, and a view of the valley's rolling hills. The food was simple but good. Oatmeal, fresh fruit, eggs, coffee that tasted like it came from a cafe, not a lab. There were 5 other participants, and we chat over meals, our voices echoing in the high-ceiling space. Mia, a college student with bright red hair, was here for extra cash. Harold, a retired teacher with a gravelly laugh, wanted to fix his insomnia. Paul, a wiry guy in his 30s, tapped his foot constantly, his eyes darting like he was waiting for bad news. Lena, a quiet woman with gray streaks in her hair, kept to herself, her hands folded tightly in her lap. We joke about the sensors, compare our sleep, swap stories. Mia said she dreamed of flying, her dreams so vivid she could feel the wind. Harold mentioned a recurring dream about his old classroom, but stranger, the chalkboards dripping, the desks warped. I didn't dream, or didn't remember. I just slept, woke, ate, read paperbacks from the common area shelf, and felt like I was finally catching up. But by the 5th night, something shifted. I woke, or thought I did, with a heaviness in my limbs, like my body was sinking into the bed. The mattress swamped as mud. The room was darker, the tinted window black, reflecting the faint green glow of the monitors. The air felt thick, pressing against my skin, smelling faintly of damp earth. not the sterile scent I knew. I tried to sit up, but my body wouldn't move. My arms, my legs, my head, all pinned by an invisible weight. My eyes darted to the call button, but my fingers stayed limp. Then I heard it, a whisper, not from the audio track, but from the room itself, low and rhythmic, like a chant in a language I couldn't grasp. Stay, sink, sleep. My heart slammed against my ribs, but I couldn't scream, couldn't blink. The whispers grew louder, overlapping, sexing, overlapping, filling my skull, a chorus of voices that weren't human. The room seemed to shift, the walls bending inward, the ceiling sagging like wet cloth, the sensors glowing brighter, their wires pulsing like veins. Shadows moved on the walls, forming shapes, long fingers, eyeless faces, figures that flickered and vanished. I don't know how long it lasted, but when I finally woke, gasping, the room was normal, the sensors humming, the morning light gray through the window. My shirt was soaked with sweat, my hands trembling. I pressed the call button and Carl appeared, his clipboard in hand. I told him what happened, the whispers, the paralysis, the shifting room. He frowned, checked the monitors, and said it was probably sleep paralysis, a known side effect of the therapy. He promised to adjust the stimulation levels to make it easier. His voice was calm, but his eyes avoided mine, and his hands moved too quickly like he was nervous. I wanted to believe him, but the others were changing. Mia stopped smiling, her red hair tangled, her eyes darting to the corners of the common area, like she was tracking something I couldn't see. She'd mutter about her dreams, saying they weren't dreams anymore, that she was flying but not free, that something was pulling her higher, deeper. Harold's laugh was gone, his face gray, his hands shaking as he described his classroom dreams. Underground now, the walls dirt, the students faceless, their voices static, their hands reaching for him. Paul's foot tapping became frantic, his nails bitten to blood, his whispers sharp. I didn't sign up for this. They're doing something to us. Lena was worse. She stopped eating, her fork trembling, her lips moving silently, like she was praying or arguing with someone only she could see. I tried to talk to them, to ask what was wrong, but they changed the subject, walk away, or stare at me like I was part of it. The common area felt smaller, the glass walls closer, the lights dimmer, the air heavier, like breathing through a wet cloth. By the 8th day, I was unraveling. I hadn't left the facility, hadn't seen the sun, hadn't called anyone outside. My phone stored in a locker per the rules felt like a lifeline I couldn't reach. The meals tasted wrong now, the coffee bitter, the fruits sipped and overripe. The books in the common area were strange, titles I didn't recognize, pages filled with symbols, fractured eyes, and words that blurred when I tried to read them. I confronted Dr. Holt in her office, a sterile room with a desk, a computer, and a window that showed nothing but black, like the valley was gone. I demanded answers. Why the others were breaking, why I couldn't leave, what the whispers were. Her smile was tight, her eyes cold, her fingers drumming the desk. You're stressed, she said, her voice flat. The therapy is working, but it's intense. Trust the process. I told her I wanted out, waiver or not. She shook her head, pointing to the contract on her desk, my signatures scrawled at the bottom. 2 weeks, she said. You agreed. Leaving now could harm you. Her words were calm, but her hand gripped the desk, her knuckles white. That night, the audio track was different. No waves, no chimes, just a low hum, like a machine deep underground. Vibrating in my bones, the whispers were louder, chanting my name, pulling me under, their voices a chorus of things that knew me. My fears, my guilt, my secrets. I woke, or thought I woke, paralyzed, the room wrong, the walls soft like flesh, pulsing with the hum. The window was a mirror, reflecting not me but something else. Eyes too wide, a smile too sharp, a shape that flickered at the edges, fraying like smoke. I tried to scream, but my voice was gone, my body led. The sensors burned, their wires sinking into my skin, glowing green, then red, then black. The whispers laughed, soft and endless. Sink, sleep, you're ours, you're home. I stopped knowing war was real. I'd opened my eyes to the room, the bed, the sensors. But it wasn't right. The walls were alive, rippling. The ceiling low, dripping something thick and dark. The window showed a void, black and endless, with shapes moving inside. Hands, faces, eyes, all watching, all waiting. I'd see the others, their forms blurred, their eyes empty, standing in my room, their mouths moving in sync with the whispers. Mia's hair was gone, her scalp raw, her fingers clawing at her arms. Harold's face was slack, his hands stained with dirt, like he'd been digging. Paul was curled in a corner, rocking, his nails gone, his whispers a plea. I didn't know, I didn't know. Lena stood still, her eyes black, her smile wide, her voice not hers. You're part of it now. I'd blink and they'd be gone, but their shadows stayed, burned into the walls. I tried to escape. I pried at the window, but it wouldn't break. The glass warm, pulsing. I pounded the door, but it was soft like skin, absorbing my fists. The call button sparked when I touched it, the hum surging, the whispers screaming. I tore at the sensors, but they were fused to me, their wires deep, moving under my skin, glowing when I looked too long. I found a pen on the desk, scratched a message on the wall. Help me, they won't let me wake. But the words melted, reforming into symbols, fractured eyes, my name in a script I didn't know. Dr. Hope visited, or something wearing her face. Her eyes were black, her smile sharp, her coat stained with something dark, like oil or blood. She sat on the chair, her hands folded, and said the study was eternal, that I was part of something bigger, something that didn't end. You chose this, she said, her voice a hum, her teeth gleaming. You signed, you slept, you called us. I screamed at her, but the sound was swallowed, the room shaking, the whispers laughing. She touched my hand, her fingers cold, and I saw the void in her eyes, endless, hungry, alive. She left, and the door didn't open, didn't exist, the room sealing itself around me. I don't know how long it's been, days, weeks, years. The hum erases time, bends it into loops. I'm still in the room, or what's left of it. The walls flesh, the window a void, the sensors part of me, their wires my veins, their hum my pulse. The others are here, or their echoes, their forms fraying, their voices woven into the chorus. Mia's laughter is a scream, Harold's stories are static, Paul's pleas are silence, Lena's prayers are commands. I see them in the void, their faces merging, dissolving, reforming as something else, something older, hungrier, wearing us like masks. The hum is all I know, the whispers all I hear, the room all I am. I write this in my mind, or on the walls, or in the void, the words bleeding from my fingers, black and thick, smelling of earth and rust. The sensors glow, the wires move, the hum sings, and I'm not sure if I'm writing or being written, if I'm me or it. The thing in the void knows my name, my fears, my secrets, my sins. It says I called it, that I signed the waiver, that I chose this, that I wanted to sleep forever. I don't know if it's lying, I don't know if I'm awake, I don't know if I ever was. If you see an ad for Somnus Labs, don't answer, don't sign up, don't sleep, don't close your eyes. They're waiting in the dark, in the hum, in the sleep you'll never leave. Good night, bud, and don't trust the dark tonight.